rushed or thin research.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then there's the whole public participation angle, which the book goes into deeply. It really gets into how you identify all different stakeholders, and I mean all of them, and genuinely engage them.
How so? What methods does it suggest?
It covers the familiar stuff, sure, like focus groups, surveys, but then it explores more innovative things like participatory mapping or even using citizen science campaigns.
Citizen science, so getting the local community involved in data gathering.
Precisely. Turning them from just, people being consulted into active partners who contribute real ecological data. It changes the dynamic completely.
That sounds powerful, turning the public into partners. But I imagine actually doing that, getting genuine participation, must have its challenges.
Oh, absolutely. Huge challenges sometimes.
What kind of hurdles are we talking about, and how does the book suggest getting over them?
Well, it directly addresses things like information asymmetry, where the project developers might have all the technical details and the community has very little.
Right, that power imbalance.
Exactly. And also issues like low literacy rates in some areas. The book provides strategies to tackle these head on.
And the goal is?
The goal is to move beyond just token consultation. By dealing with these barriers, you can tap into invaluable local knowledge, which strengthens the EIA itself. And, maybe even more importantly, it builds real legitimacy for the project.
Legitimacy. Okay, so let's say you manage to engage people effectively. What about navigating the dynamics between all these different groups? Because stakeholders often have competing interests, right?
That's often where the real difficulty lies. You're right. Conflict can easily arise.
So what does the book offer there?
It details proving techniques, things for effective communication, strategies for resolving conflicts before they escalate, and fundamentally, ways to build trust.
Building trust seems central.
It is, and this leads to a really crucial concept the book highlights: securing a social license to operate.
Social license to operate. I've definitely heard that phrase. What does it mean in this context?
It's basically about earning broad community acceptance and trust. It means the affected communities see the project as legitimate and, ideally, beneficial, or at least acceptable. It's not just a PR term. It's essential for the project's long-term survival.
So without it?
Without it,
Yeah.
even a technically perfect project can run into major roadblocks, delays, or even get canceled. Community opposition can be incredibly powerful.
Okay, this really reframes EIA. It sounds like it transforms it from, like we said, that bureaucratic checkbox
Yeah,
into something much more strategic and impactful.
absolutely. The book shows you how to weave EIA right into the fabric of sustainable development practices. It's not just about meeting regulations anymore.
It's about
It's about making sure projects actually deliver real social benefits, minimizing the environmental damage, obviously, but also achieving better economic outcomes in the long run because they're more stable and accepted. It becomes a strategic asset, not just a cost.
that integration aspect is really key. So for you listening, wanting to really get a handle on this, what are people saying? People who've actually used this book, engaged with Bashir's ideas, what do they find most useful?
The feedback, the reviews, they really highlight a few things consistently. First, clarity and organization. People say it's well organized, easy to understand.
Even though it covers complex stuff.
Yes, apparently the explanations are very thoughtful. One interesting comment was that even though it has the depth of a full academic publication, it stays accessible and highly practical.
Okay, practicality. That's always good.
Definitely. And that's the second big point. People stress that it genuinely bridges the gap between theory and real-world application. It takes what, sounds like dry paperwork and makes it a practical, eye-opening guide.
Does it give concrete examples? Tools?
Yes, exactly. Reviewers mentioned useful tools and real examples, not only theory. That seems to be a major plus.
What about the scope? Does it cover standard EIA practices?
It does. It covers familiar frameworks used globally. For instance, it talks about the Leopold matrix.
The Leopold matrix, what's that?
Think of it like a grid. It helps you systematically map project activities against potential environmental impacts, a way to flag risks early on.
Okay. A structured way to identify potential problems.
Precisely. And it also covers tools like DPSIR.
DPSIR.
Yeah, it stands for Driving Forces, Pressures, State, Impact, Response. It's a framework to understand the whole chain of cause and effect from human activities causing pressure to the state of the environment changing, the impacts of that, and then what responses are needed.
I see. So connecting the dots from pollution to real-world effects and solutions.
You got it. So overall, the feedback is that it's seen as a must-have guide. It offers step-by-step guidance for doing EIAs that are robust, credible, and genuinely make a difference.
And that comprehensive, practical approach really feels like it connects back to Imam Bashir's background, doesn't it? That public health and engineering perspective.
I think so too. It adds this interdisciplinary layer. He understands the systems, both human and ecological. It makes his perspective on sustainable entrepreneurship through the lens of EIA particularly insightful. He's not just talking abstract concepts.
Yeah, that real-world grounding seems vital.
Absolutely, it elevates the whole discussion.
So, wrapping things up from this deep dive, it seems clear that understanding EIA the way Bashir presents it lets you turn what often feels like just a hoop to jump through
Right, the compliance burden.
into a genuinely powerful strategic tool.
Yeah.
It's about much more than just following the rules.
Exactly. It's really about improving how projects are designed in the first place, making decision-making smoother and more informed, and ultimately making a real contribution to a sustainable future.
Tying it all together, environment, community, economics.
That's the goal, a cohesive framework.
So here's a final thought for you to ponder. What if every major project, whether it's huge or relatively small, truly made it a top priority to achieve that social license to operate, through real, honest public engagement?
That's a big question.
How might that fundamentally shift the way development happens? Not just thinking about the environment, but about the impact on communities, on local economies, maybe even global ones. What would that look like?